Good morning. I am out on the Kinderhook Trail, Wayne National Forest. This is the newest trail system according to the Wayne National Forest website. Out here with Bryce Newbold. I'm sure everybody who watches me watches Bryce. But we're gonna check out this trail. It's a hard trail to find information on, so I'm gonna track it on my watch and upload it to All Trails when it's all said and done. But yeah, so we really don't know what to expect except for temperatures in the high 30s today and the low 20s tonight. So it is the night before Winter Solstice. So tomorrow is the shortest day of the year, which means that tonight will be one of the longest nights of the year. So we're gonna try and hike the bulk of this trail, which is, 12 or different websites say different amounts, 12 to 16 miles. We'll find out when we track it. And yeah, should be a good time. We are about 2 miles in, getting to the top of our first real climb. We've been climbing from about 1 mile to about 2 miles. So it's a lot of climb, but having a good time. It's a beautiful day. I'm actually too warm. I'm about to shed my long sleeve layer and just be in a short sleeve t-shirt. So I get moving and I'm like a sweaty pig. It's gross. Trying to keep myself dry though, so I'm gonna take off a layer and keep going. Enjoy this beautiful day.
Ooh, someday I wish upon a star. Wake up where the clouds are far behind.
Got rid of my long sleeves. Sweating like a pig. I don't know what it is. As soon as I get moving, even it's like not even 30 degrees probably. I just start sweating. I feel much better now. Pretty clear view of the Ohio River. Pretty sweet.
Someday I wish upon a star. Wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops. High above the chimney top, that's where you find me.
Gotta say that the trail, for the most part, is really well established and pretty easy to follow, but not particularly well marked. We've hit a couple intersections where we weren't sure which way to go exactly, and after a little bit of deliberation, we've made the right choice every time so far, which has been pretty awesome. But it makes for a different kind of experience when you're not just following the blazes. And and you got to pay a little more attention to make sure that you're not wandering off trail to some other trail or road or something along those lines. You can see that the ice has like lifted everything and then thawed and left it all kind of just up in the air. This has caused for a lot of really awkward post-holing.
Pretty cool. Do some rock climbing.
Go for it. Free solo too. So going along with our theme of not marking the trails very well, this way here, that's the way we went, because you know there's a blaze right here on the side of this tree right there. See that blaze and a clear path forward, and so we went that way for a while and then we got there and we couldn't figure out what to do, and that is because the trail at this blaze turns and goes that way, which doesn't look like much of a trail, but there's a blaze up there. So yeah, you would never guess that that was the way to go until you have been lost and are backtracking. So yeah, awesome. Onward. All right, so we found the trail. Unfortunately, we followed that turn and it turned into nothing again. So we did some good old-fashioned orienteering and figured out where we were, headed in one direction till we ended up back on a trail. So we had to climb a massive hill, but now we are back up on a ridge top, out of breath, and should be back on the trail now, although we still haven't seen any blazes. But that's the theme of this place, so. Alright, so trail comes out onto this kind of dirt road, and I've been walking on it for probably 2 miles now, I would think. And I think we got at least another mile on it. So we're trying to make up a little bit for the time we lost being lost, but this has been the most flat ground we've seen this whole trip. So we're feeling a little bit hopeful that a decent campsite is going to present itself. Fingers crossed. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's about an hour and 15 minutes until sunset. We are pretty much at the halfway point, so I'm going to guess that this is a 16-mile loop, not a 12-mile loop. Made really good time in the last hour, covered like 3 miles. It looks like we're going to do some more road walking, which might give us another jump on kind of getting back towards where we started. But regardless, wait, did I say 3, 4. I'm sorry, an hour and 15 minutes till we absolutely have to find camp. Not till sunset. We have 2 hours and 15 minutes till sunset. But basically, no matter where we're at, in an hour and 15 minutes, we're gonna seriously scout a campsite. So, yeah, having a good time though. It's a nice day for this.
It is. A lot warmer than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, I've been in just a t-shirt all day. Being followed.
He just defended his driveway. How's your little lantern? Is that solar powered?
It is, yep. All right, so we are done with road walking for a little bit. We've killed the last bunch of miles, like just really busted them out. And it's coming up on 3:30. So we are going to be actively looking for a campsite now. And hopefully we can find something close to water, because this is all I got. So, yeah, feeling good about things. We're at a point now where it'll be kind of a short hike out tomorrow, which is nice. Oh wait, there's a sign that says a campsite up ahead.
Oh, no way.
Look at that.
Established campsite of the trail. I think we got a pretty good chance of nobody being there.
All right, so we are back to the short loop. It's 10 till 4, and we still have not found that campsite. So we hit a trail called the Campfire Trail, and Bryce and I split up, and I ran about a half mile down the Campfire Trail thinking that maybe that led to the campsite. It doesn't appear to. Bryce continued down the way we were headed to see what was down there, and he is not back yet. So I think what I'm going to do is pick up his pack. We both dropped our packs and ran. I think I'm going to pick up his pack and start heading down the trail to meet up with him, because we got to find a place to camp soon, because we've got about an hour till dark. So, yeah, and I just drank the last of my water, so also need to find water. But that's where we're at. So, here we go.
Well, we found a spot. It's definitely not established. Never did find the established campsite. I think it might have been implying that the campsite's back at the trailhead. We're up ahead, which is like still like a few miles away.
All right, that's it. That's home for the night. I just need to inflate my sleeping pad and throw out my quilt so that it can start fluffing up. Nice. Got Bryce's set up using a ENO hammock camping tarp, just slung low to the ground. Looks pretty sweet. Get that quilt fluffing up. I did a little bit of bushwhacking headed downhill for, I don't know, 0.2 of a mile or something. And got myself some water. So it's time to do some filtering. Bryce had a little more than he needs tonight, but I plan to make myself some hot apple cider. So I didn't want to use up all his water drinking cider. Leave him with nothing. But yeah, so we're gonna, I think, maybe have a fire. I think we're still undecided on that. But yeah, filter some water, eat some dinner. It's gonna be dark here in about 10 minutes. And we are just gonna hang out.
Know what you mean. In Oregon, I felt the same way. I'd be 20 miles in, and it'd be 1 o'clock, and it's like, well, I can't stop. It's 1 o'clock.
What am I gonna do?
I guess I'll just keep on trucking. So, like that very first trail I did, it was 60 miles, and I figured on 5 nights, and I did it in 3 nights, or 2 nights actually. Yeah, I figured maybe like 4 or 5 nights I was gonna do that in.
Alright, for dinner tonight, it is a Nor Fiesta taco rice with some fajita flavored chicken. So, I think it'll be alright. Alright, so I ate my Nor rice side with chicken in it, and I've had a couple apple ciders, and I've cut some firewood, and it's 6:24. So I'm realizing that the night, Winter Solstice Eve, is a very long night. But I guess I knew that, didn't I? Yeah, so we're just hanging out here and talking and feeding the fire. And that's pretty much it. So we got our little Lucy light going behind us. And I also have a little candle lantern, tea candle lantern going at the entrance to my shelter. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on. We're like consuming as much food as we can to have lots of calories to stay warm during the night. Okay, well, I may not check back till morning. So, good night.
Good morning. It's about 27 degrees, and what time is it? It's like 7:45 in the morning, and I'm just laying here waiting for some water to boil. Gonna have a cup of coffee, start tearing things down, and I think we got about 2.5 miles back to the car. So we hiked the bulk of the trail yesterday, which will make for a nice short hike out and get home early and that sort of thing. But yeah, I slept good, stayed pretty warm. My hammock gear, 20-degree top quilt, and my X-Therm together did a pretty good job. Kept me warm. Woke up a little chilly a couple times and realized that I had like drafty spots where my quilt, like there's a gap between my quilt and the sleeping pad letting in some air. But I like tucked that down and went back to sleep, and it was great. I guess this morning some deer walked right by my tarp, and I heard them, but I didn't look up. I assumed that the sound was coming from further away, but Bryce said they were like 20 feet from the opening in my tarp, so would have been nice to look up and see them, but I didn't. Kept my eyes closed. But yeah, so that's all going on, all that's going on here. Gonna drink some coffee and start tearing down soon. One final view from our beautiful campsite. This was a good one. It's about 9:30 and it's been a good morning. We both slept pretty good and feeling rested and ready to bust out these last couple miles. So it's been a pretty good trip. My tarp setup worked out real nice, and plenty of ventilation, but no like real air movement inside, which is nice because then you got nothing like zapping the heat out of your quilt. But yeah, so it's in the high 20s right now. I really debated wearing my coat, but Bryce was like, dude, you're gonna take that off in like 5 minutes. So I just went ahead and took it off. But yeah, all right, well, let's do this.
See, I wish I knew my bird calls.
I don't know what that is, but it's got a beautiful song. I like that. What a shame. It's like a cool river down there, and like we can see it, but when you try and like show it on the camera, it just, all you see is like the trees and everything in the way. You can't make it out. It's sad because it's pretty cool looking. All right, so we are back on the connector trail. When we had set out to do this trail, we had thought we were going to go counterclockwise, and then there's a tree fall in kind of across the path. We didn't know that we were going the wrong way until we had decided it was too late to turn around. But we figured it out where it comes back together now. Figured out that there was a tree across it, and that's why we didn't see it. So some thoughts on this trail. If you're looking for a place that feels like pretty secluded and wild, this is an awesome place to go. You kind of weave in and out of like established humanity, but there's a lot of places that feel pretty like untouched and wild. So you definitely get that like wild camping feel. What's interesting about it is that you feel really secluded, and then like last night, Bryce and I are sitting around the fire. It's dark, feels really secluded, and then we heard church bells. It was 8 o'clock at night. So you're really not that far away from anything, but it feels pretty far away. Feels pretty secluded, which I think is pretty cool. You can know that if something were to go wrong, you know what I mean, like somebody were to break their leg or something, you're never more than a mile away from help. So kind of neat. Yeah, definitely a cool trail. If you're looking for something that you don't mind having to adventure a little bit, this is a good place to check out. If you're looking for some place that you're definitely not going to get lost or anything, that you're going to be able to stay at established campsites and that sort of thing, this is not the trail for you. But yeah, we've had a good time. We're about back to the car, walking through this beautiful piney area. It's like the only pine plantation in the whole loop that we saw. But yeah, so thanks for following along. We'll see you next time.